All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the first issue of The Hood, one of six by Brian K. Vaughan. I believe that's how you say it. Kyle Hotz, this is the only reason I bought it. This is from Max Comics, and you say, what is Max Comics? Well, Max Comics is an imprint of Marvel, mostly used for mature-esque stories, or, that is not PG-13. Although what they mean with explicit content is more, harsh language, something like that. I'm not sure there's nudity in this series. I mean, there's no nudity in here, but mostly it's just harsh words, right? And this is, I believe, the origin of The Hood, which is, this book is, I believe, from 2002. And I thought, wait a minute, is this that old? It feels like that for me, that The Hood is still new, right? It belongs to the newer part of Marvel. But it seems that this guy is already 20 years old or something like that. I didn't know that. And I didn't feel that this guy is, 20 years old character, but it is. And I always was interested in not so much I need to know who the Hood is and where it comes from, but more, I see him a couple of times and I was mildly interested. So you know what? I bought it, the series, purely because Kyle Hotz, big fan of Kyle Hotz's art. And this is more like, how the Hood came to be. So let's dive in and then see if this is any good. Well, this is more like an introduction series where there are some fun bits in here. So we have Parker Robbins, who becomes the Hood. And he is, talking to his mom, who is a vegetable. And he says, well, I'm accepted in the pre-med program. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to make you better, right? And she calls him Arthur, which is his dad. But he's not around anymore. He's probably dead. But then he says, hey, visiting hours are over, Mr. Robbins. All right. And sorry to kick you out, bro, says this nurse guy, right? He says, well, I appreciate everything you've done for her. But the nurse says, hey, I overheard something, and didn't you tell your mom you were going to be a lawyer last week, and the week before it was a stockbroker? He says, say another word, and I cut your effing face off, right? Yeah, so Parker Robbins, he's not a great guy. He's not a good guy. He is a low-life criminal, and he's meeting up with a friend in a bar, right? And he says, I gotta get Ma out of that effing nut house, John. I love to set her up St. Vinny's, but there's no way I can afford a program in Manhattan. So what you think, says his buddy. He said, what are you talking about? So there is a warehouse in Greenpoint, right? I heard rumblings about a major shipment coming in tonight. Shipment of what? I don't know, but it's huge, right? And so he says, wait a minute, before you talk anymore, you see that guy over there? That's Mac Dillon. Electro. Wait a minute, Electro in a bar? Okay. And so his buddy says, guy who shoots thunderbolts out of his... Well, I cannot say that on YouTube. No, he says, but it seems that Parker Robbins is a big fan of Electro, right? He fought Daredevil. Big whoop. And he says, I never understood the mask. Yeah, they can pull off bigger heists, but not without bringing the Fantastic Four down on their asses. So he doesn't get it why people are just getting into their costumes and getting their ass kicked all the time, right? I mean, is it all worth it? He says, yeah. And well, he says this word, but it seems that Electro is a ladies' man. He's bringing in the girls, right? And he said, wow, what is this? Some kind of a super villain hangout? And but then he's getting interrupted by a guy, and he doesn't want to say his name, but he's connected, and he's Hydra. He said, let's talk outside. So he said, that's correct. But Parker says, you're terrorists. No. Only if you believe the Jews run media. Hydra is a global corporation dedicated to realigning power relations and creating a more enabling environment for New World nations. So he's coming on with all the benefits with pay and dental. He says, but no, dude, you're terrorists, And you talk about what you did to us last September. Probably this is part of some kind of a storyline that I forgot. So, I don't know what happened. He says, don't do something you regret. And he's gonna, kick his ass. And so, yeah, this guy is gonna get it real hard. Also, this guy's taking a leak on that. And Parker's not very happy because just like any low-level scum, he wants to get his $2,000 suit. So he's taking his shoes instead. And the other one says, oh, well, yeah, you can take whatever you want that is left. Right? So he says, hey, can we still do that thing, in the evening? Sure. Let's meet at 11. But then Parker is, not really good at anything, even at, making love to a woman. And she's, I believe, a Russian prostitute. And she says, basically, well, hey, you've been ready to explode since you walked through the door. Why are you like this? He says, I don't want to talk about it. I need to go, right? I will never understand why a handsome child like you has to come to someone like me, so I don't have to put up with small talk after sex. Your money's on the dresser. See you tomorrow. Yeah, okay, but I remember that he has a girlfriend, right? Well, that's true. He has a girlfriend, and like I said, he's scum. She's pregnant, and she says, well, basically calling him a hero because he supposedly saved her life, and that's how they hooked up, connected or something, right? And so she said something about, about getting an echo or something. It's like a stenography. Is that how you say it when you're checking on a baby? But it didn't go through because, I don't know, something with mutants. And he says, how is your job hunting looking? And he says, well, I'm looking for security guard something, and I'm applying to now. I need to go, and because I have to start the job tonight. And he's bringing a gun because it's not really a guard job, right? So he says to his buddy, hey, you sure this place is clean? How many times I gotta say it? This is Milgram, Parker, purely smash and grab. So they're going in, right? And they found something weird. And that thing that they are gonna think that's here is not here. He says, what does this place import? Disappointment? I don't get it, says his buddy. My guy's never wrong. Gotta take a look around. There's something here. So there's some weird incantations here on the floor with candles. And there's a guy sneaking up on his buddy. And it's a demon. And he's speaking in incomprehensible tongue. But then the demon is getting shot by Parker. And this, whatever it is dead. He says, oh man, I killed him. No, what you did to save my life. Besides, I don't think it was him. Look at, he looks more like a mutie. But he's wearing some kind of a cape. You sure he's not an Avenger or something? Pretty sure Avengers ain't that ugly. Okay, that made me laugh. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. But Parker says, no, let me take off his clothes. They look expensive, which cracks me up a bit, It feels so... I know, some kind of an 80s movie when some low-level guy says, oh, man, look at that. He just got some nice boots. Let me get his boots. Like he's some kind of a homeless guy, right? And so he says, what are you opening? A man's warehouse? Let's go. The cops on their way. No. I just want to have his boots and his cloak thing. There's no way I'm going to leave here empty-handed. Not after all this. So, yeah, some strange stuff going on here. So... he's going into some kind of a alley, and he's putting the gun away. But then he's being greeted by some other low-life villains that wants to rob him. How appropriate. And Karma is, that. He says, hey, that's some O.J. Simpson-looking shoes, son. Take them off. Happily, but I thought you people only stole Air Jordans. You people? Yeah, shithead. So he's running, but he's running on socks, right? Sorry. He's running on socks, right? So he's running through glass. And, and then he suddenly is gone. Where the hell did he go? Well, if they just looked up, he says, I can fucking fly. Leads us to the next issue. All right, there's some Call of Duty comics preview by R.T. Bear, David Finch, and Bruce Jones here. Not really interested in that. I mean, the art looks phenomenal, by the way, but, David Finch, you cannot go wrong with that. But, overall, this is interesting. So probably we're going to wrap it up when it comes to violence and maybe more supervillains are along the way. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I like the cameo of Elektra, although he is not really in superhero, super villain clothing. But yeah, this looks interesting. I'm not sure how the story goes, but it's always the case when it comes to new material, new comics, new, stories. But, so far it looks great. The whole profanity thing with the swearing and so, but, it's part of this, badass, probably the word badass is not really good, but, the criminal culture when people swearing all the time. But, it is what it is. So far, interesting. So, guys, stick around. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Jesus. Bye-bye.